I begged my ex-husband to take me back, but he said he couldn't because I broke him. Came over to pick up the boys. My lover was more physically fit than my specs, but he just smiled at my lover. Not yet was what he told him with a smile. Not yet, but soon. When they left, I was so angry at my lover. I told him that what he did was uncalled for and he just ignored me, only to yell at me when he had enough, and it scared me. My lover soon began to tell me what to eat, what to wear, making these hurtful comments when no one was listening, and I let it happen. When the divorce gotten finalized, we negotiated 50-50 straight down with a payment plan to buy his half of the house. We had shared custody, but the boys wanted to live with him. I haven't seen my eldest daughters in a long time. They don't return my phone calls. I only found out one of them was in a serious relationship when he mentioned it. It was surreal when it happened. Watching him sign the papers caused so much pain in my chest. When he took his ring off and placed it on the paper, I felt the ball in my throat, and when he left, I realized I never apologized to him. I grabbed the pen and just stared at the ring. At that moment, I realized how much I effed up. I destroyed my marriage, my relationship with my children, and I think I was in an abusive relationship, and I just cried. I couldn't breathe, I was too incoherent, but eventually I signed it. A week after my divorce was when my lover hit me for the first time. I was telling him about my day and I bumped into the nightstand and knocked over his phone. He gave me this look, slapped me and called me clumsy. I called my ex and the first thing he asked was, does he touch my children? I told him no and he just hung up. I cried so hard that night. Soon my lover got comfortable using his hands. It went on for 2 months and at the time, I felt like I deserved it. My ex never laid a hand on me. My lover did, and to me, it was karma. It only stopped when he hit one of my daughters who was home from college due to COVID. She was the only one who wanted to stay at the house. The 2 older ones stood at their dad. One phone call from her and my ex walked into the house, offered my lover a free hit before beating him into a bloody pulp. My ex was stone-faced the entire time. No emotions. I had to beg to stop him. He looked at our daughter's bruised face and asked her what hand did he use to hit her, and he broke his right hand by stomping on it. When it was over, my ex took him and dragged him outside. Not one he looked at me. Not once acknowledged me. He took him to the hospital and told the ER that my lover fell down a flight of stairs. My husband stood by my lover's side. I do not know what they spoke about, but the following day my lover quit the job and left me. I kept working and my ex began screwing some of my single friends, even a couple of my co-workers. One of them was the girl who convinced me to cheat. I only found out after the fact when my co-worker was stressing over him, bragging to the other girls how he blew her back out. Constantly asking me about him and why he won't return her phone calls. It hurt me to know that he was doing that. I think he was doing that on purpose. I dated a few guys, but it never lasted. I'm a single mother of 5 children, that seemed to push men away. Then there was the ex. Looking back, even with my lover, none of them could satisfy me the way my ex could. Which made me wonder, why did I allow this to happen? I was happy, how did I let myself get manipulated? I don't understand why. During this time my house was always quiet. My boys were either locked into their room or at their dad's. My daughters, with the exception of my third-born, refused to talk to me, and it was hurting. My ex saw this and he conducted a family meeting. He had all the kids in the house and I was happy to have all of our children under the roof, but the majority didn't want to be there. He began telling the kids to talk to me and my youngest called me a WHRE. This shocked me, it hurt me so much, and my ex slapped him right in front of me. Have I ever called your mother that? He barked and our son shook his head. Your mother takes care of you, she loves you and you will respect her. What happened between us has nothing to do with you. All of you will start respecting your mother. Do I make myself clear? He looked at all of our children and it spoke volumes, and my relationship with my children began to improve. During the 2nd year anniversary of our divorce, we were civil. We laughed, talked, he constantly came over to the house to fix things, to talk about the kids, and for a while I had my husband back and I leaned in, but he shoved me and said no before walking away. A month later, he began dating our youngest teacher. She's 10 years younger than him and they have a lot of common interest. She's extremely attractive and I tried to be civil while they were dating, but it hurt seeing him looking at her the way he looked at me. How he touched her, made her laugh, she was the center of his attention, and I understood why people envied us. Why they kept telling me how lucky I was. That devotion, why I never noticed it. I had my nervous breakdown when I heard that they were expecting and they were getting married. I woke up with him by my side, wiping the stray strands from my face, and I just cried, begging him for forgiveness, for destroying our family, and he said nothing. He just let me talk while holding me.